All right, so we are about an hour before Shabbos. I think it is the earliest Shabbos of the year. Here it starts at 3:58 p.m. and we're in the middle of a snowstorm as well. So want to get in the weekly video. Hey, and this week's Torah portion is Vayeitzei, which means to go, to leave. And it begins with something really interesting. It says that Jacob left Beer Sheva and he went to Charan. And one of the first questions that's asked is why even bother saying where one leaves from? Why not just say where one is going, especially since we already knew where he was? But so we're told that he leaves Beer Sheva, he goes to Charan, and then once he's there, he, has this dream with the ladder. But Beer Sheva literally means the well of seven. And as I said in last week's video, be'er, a well, is also from the word like levaer, which means to explain. So there's something about explanation and things almost making sense and coming together and having some reasoning behind it. And also the concept of the well is where you have to dig deep. You have to go under the ground where you're not seeing the source to get the water, which is then going to come up from a deep place within. And last week I spoke about the three different wells in relationship to Isaac. So now we have the well, and it's Beer Sheva, the well related to seven, the well of seven. And anytime we have the number seven, our seventh day of the week is Shabbos. It's the idea of going from the 6 work days into the 7th, into an area of holiness, kind of a separation in time with that. And also it relates to the 7 emotive qualities that are within each and every one of us that we don't all tap into in the same way, but we all have equitable access to, and they exist within us. Whereas Charan, the place he goes to, is the place that means wrath. It has to do with negativity and this toxicity and hatred and difficulty and challenge. Like wrath is all the things we want to avoid. And yet it's specifically there that productivity and creation takes place. That's where he becomes, the father of these nations. And it's there that what needs to happen happens. So first, there's this really beautiful message that it would seem really nice and really easy to avoid all the difficulty. As I often say, it'd be so great if life was nice and smooth and no bumps along the way and no challenges and no difficulties. And we will all reach a time and a place where we have that smoothness and we have that straight line. And when our EKG has that nice straight flat line, it means life is over. So we don't want that. We want lots of ups and downs. We want those challenges. We want those difficulties. We don't think we do, but we do, because that is the meaning of life. That means that life is happening, that things are not flat and smooth and stagnant, but they're moving and they have highs and lows and ups and downs. So it's specifically in Charan where it happens, where life happens, where creation happens, where growth happens. And as much as we might want to avoid that, it is specifically always our challenges that force us to push ourselves, to go beyond what we had as perceived limitations, to show ourselves in the world around us that we're capable of more, and we can, push beyond what we thought we were incapable of doing prior. And so that's why it's telling us, though, you come from Beer Sheva. Don't forget that if you dig deep and you look within, you have that strength and you have that power and you have these emotive traits and you have these abilities, and it's there. It might be, like I said, with the wells, covered with the muck and covered with the mud and covered with the rock and covered with everything that has to be pulled out of its way for the water to come forth and to see what is hidden within, but it's there. And you're coming from that. And so even when you're in the midst of Charan and that wrath and that difficulty, it's there. And then he dreams of the ladder, that one rung at a time. Going up, it is always possible. It's always there. And we even use the expression to fall fast, to fall low. And then we have to climb back up one step at a time. But that ladder's there. And the famous parable is often stated that between, that there's a ladder, 613 rungs representing the different commandments in the Torah. And, who's higher? Is it the one on the 612th, rung, or on the first? And the answer is it depends which direction they're going. As long as we're moving upwards, as long as we're taking that next step, as long as we know we can always climb higher and we're holding on to that, then it doesn't matter which rung we're on. It matters which direction we're going. And so even in Charan, and specifically in Charan, in the wrath and in the difficulty and in our challenges, that's what we're going to produce, and that's what we're going to grow, and that's what we're going to prove to ourselves and to the rest of the world that we are so much more capable and so much more resilient and so much stronger and so much more courageous than even we knew we were. And that's where we're going to see it. And it's because we come from Beer Sheva. We have within us that strength and that power and those qualities and those abilities. And we just need to, like the well, let them be revealed. So with that, I hope you have a beautiful Shabbos and a warm one and a safe one. And I wish I could turn my camera around, but I can't. Here, I can try this. It's my laptop. I don't know if you can see through the window our snowstorm. Did you see that at all? I don't know if you saw that at all. Anyway, good Shabbos, and be in touch next week.